Good evening. My name is Paul Kreider. I'm the Dean of the College of Creative Arts, and I welcome you to the College of Creative Arts 2013 Commencement. Will everyone please rise for the singing of the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, give proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. We have many things to do here this afternoon or this evening, but first you have to listen to me speak for a little while. It's indeed an honor to be here today and to participate in my second College of Creative Arts commencement. I am pleased to be here with you on this special occasion for our graduates and their families. I am also proud to be counted as one of the esteemed faculty of this great institution. Thank you all for your attendance today, and thank you to those who are watching the ceremony via our live webcast. We appreciate your love for the arts and your dedication to this college. Graduates, many of you are excited about the future and know where you're headed in the short term. Some of you have not quite had the time to contemplate the next stages of your future and will soon begin to figure that out. Should you wonder if you've done the right thing by receiving a college education or an advanced degree, please rest assured that you have. In 2010, unemployment rates for arts graduates were less than 10% and hovered right around the national average at that time. That same year, the unemployment rate for those with only a high school diploma was over 22%. There are many horror stories that you've heard about attorneys who can't find work today, PhDs, recent PhDs that can't find a job. This may happen to you for a short time, but I want to encourage you to keep looking until you find the right employment that fulfills your passion. There are several skills or characteristics that you must remember and market to all future employers. These characteristics and skills are less obvious and things that you acquired while being a creative arts student. These are the same skills and qualities I believe that the 21st century businesses and employers, large and small, are looking for today in their leaders and employees. Please keep these in mind as you build your resume and portfolio and prepare for future interviews. Number one, discipline. By our very nature as artists, we all know the results of hard work, hours of practice, and hours of art making. We are very disciplined individuals, or we would not have succeeded in our major areas and be here today. Number two, adaptability. We have learned to adapt to many situations through our applied studies, individual and group learning, and through our very collaborative activities. Which leads us to number three, collaboration. The very nature of making art and its presentation is collaborative. How can you accentuate that experience during your interviews with future employers. Number 4, public presentation. The nature of arts disciplines puts us ahead of many others with regard to presentation of our work and the ease and style with which we communicate our work. We can compete in this area with any young job seeker. Number 5, resilience. Through the course of studies and working with faculty mentors, you have indeed learned how to be resilient. Discuss how you have overcome adversity with all your prospective employers. Number 6 is leadership. You have developed leadership skills in several ways without realizing it. Whether you are a young teacher, a stage manager, a section leader, or a participant within group activities, talk about how your experiences have provided you leadership skills and leadership qualities. Number 7, self-motivation. The nature of our discipline requires self-motivation. Use that to your advantage. Employers want to have self-motivated people working for them. Remember that in your interviews. Self-confidence. Now, you may not be as self-confident as you would like to be, but I think you will agree that completion of our programs in the College of Creative Arts requires a certain amount of self-confidence to succeed and to undertake art making on a daily basis. You have succeeded and you have graduated. You have the ability and the confidence to compete. Remember that and market it. Number 9, there's only 10, I swear. Number 9, goal-oriented. Every employer out there today wants to hire people who are goal-oriented. That is what you have learned in each step of the way through your applied classes and all your coursework. You have set goals, lofty goals and easy goals, and you accomplished them. Remember to share those examples with your prospective employers. And finally, 10, ambition. Ambition is not a negative quality. The success of any organization, whether a school, a university, business, art gallery, theater, or orchestra, depends upon the ambition of its leaders and its employees. This is what drives the organization and makes it special. Know your ambition and know your vision for your future. You will hear many pieces of advice over the next several weeks and months and probably even years. From this point forward, please listen to suggestions of those who are there to assist you and to those who have employed you. There are 5 suggestions I want to give you today. Please take these with you as you pursue your vision. Networking. Making connections to others is crucial for success. Market yourself. In today's world, this is required. Develop those skills. Stretch your boundaries and learn to take risks. That is also essential. And then there are those C words. Remember to collaborate, be cooperative, be collegial, and build community. And finally, and equally as important, remember to ask for feedback and to never stop learning. Finally, please remember those who have supported your educational goals. Thank them for your support. As you go through life, please notice those who are less fortunate than you. You can always repay your good fortune by helping others, by giving back to your communities, by giving back to your place of worship, by giving back to arts organizations, and by giving back to your alma mater. Be an arts advocate. Please know that the College of Creative Arts values its students, its faculty, its staff, and its alumni. We want and need you to remember us. Please return to us. Tell us your story. Remain engaged with us. As cliche as it may seem, we are a family, and we must be there to help and support each other. Let us know if we can continue to assist you. So on behalf of the faculty of the College of Creative Arts, we wish you all the best and congratulations on your achievements and your future successes. Thank you. At this time, it is my pleasure to welcome to the podium Associate Dean William Jamie Windsor.
Time to pass out some bling. Okay, it's a tradition for the college to recognize one senior from each school as the outstanding graduate from their program. From these 3 graduates, we also recognize one of them as the overall outstanding senior from the College of Creative Arts. And it's my pleasure tonight to announce these. Our outstanding graduating senior from the School of Art and Design is Elizabeth Page Roth. Elizabeth, if you'd like to come up on stage. Elizabeth will graduate summa cum laude with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Photography and a minor in Arts Administration. During her course of study, she has maintained an impressive GPA of 3.97, and she has worked for New South Media in Morgantown for the past year, photographing, writing stories, managing websites for West Virginia Living, West Virginia Weddings, and other Morgantown magazines. Liz is currently the president of Kappa Pi, the honorary fraternity, and has shown her work in several exhibits in town. In addition, her work has been included in the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts annual juried exhibition. Please join me in congratulating Elizabeth. They're giving you an award as soon as they figure that out. Picture, picture, picture. Okay. Our outstanding senior from the School of Music is Hannah Bridget Webster. Hannah is from Jamestown, New York, and is graduating with her Bachelor of Fine Arts in Music. During her time at WVU, Hannah has studied percussion with Professor George Willis and piano with Professor Christine Kefferstan. She has also performed in the West Virginia University Symphony Orchestra, Wind Symphony, Percussion Ensemble, Symphonic Band, Steel Drum Band, African Music Dance Ensemble, Music Chorale, and has been an active member of the Sigma Alpha Iota sorority. During the summer, Anna serves as the Assistant Office Administrator for the Chautauqua Music Festival in Chautauqua, New York, and occasionally performs with the Music School Festival Orchestra. In the spring of 2012, she studied abroad in Cardiff, Wales. After finding that she liked being abroad so much, Hannah knew that she wanted to return to England to pursue further education. Accordingly, she will return to London in September to begin postgraduate studies in arts administration and cultural policies at Goldsmiths University of London. Please join me in congratulating Hannah. The outstanding senior from the School of Theater and Dance is Carolyn J. Bondi. Carolyn C.J. Bondi is from Cleveland, Ohio, and is graduating with a BFA in theater with an emphasis in acting. At WVU, CJ participated in a number of productions, and most recently she portrayed Kate in Harold Pinter's Old Times. CJ has also performed professionally with the Actors Summer Theater in Akron, and in addition to working on stage, she has spent a lot of time working behind scenes. This semester, she directed Seascapes with Sharks and Dancer as an advanced directing project. She is a member of the Alpha Psi Omega National Theater Honor Society, and she's been a driving force for the WVU Student Theater Organization, where she has served as both president and treasurer. After graduation, CJ will begin to work as a tour actor-director with the Missoula Children's Theater in Missoula, Montana, where she will travel to a new city every week to teach 50 to 60 children full-length musical that they will act and perform in. Please join me in congratulating Carolyn. And as I said before, one of these 3 students the college selects as the individual to be recognized as our outstanding senior from the College of Creative Arts. This year's recipient of this distinguished honor goes to C.J. Bondi as recognition of her commitment and promise that she brings to the future of the arts. Okay, thank you. One of the recent initiatives of the College of Creative Arts has been to recognize faculty-student mentored research awards, research in the arts, as a mean of advancing the college's contribution to the research mission of West Virginia University. To do so, we created the Faculty-Student Mentored Research Awards that honor students for excellence in faculty-mentored creative research and scholarly works in the arts. Although these awards have already been presented in a previous ceremony, it's my pleasure to once again announce them as part of tonight's event. For the undergraduate category, first place is Ben Ghazi and Dylan Collins. Second place was Daniela Landano Bernal and Erica Osborne. Third place was Jennifer Marcus and Jason Lee. The graduate winners, first place were Vlad Basarab and Gerald Haybarth, and second place were Sheila Barnhart and Christine Kafferstan. Please join me in congratulating these students and their mentors for their outstanding contributions.
There are those here on the platform that have helped and guided you through your 4 years or 5 years or however many years you were here in the College of Creative Arts. Let's thank them, our esteemed faculty of the College of Creative Arts. Please congratulate them. Each year, the College of Creative Arts selects and gives a Distinguished Alumnus Award. Today, we give that to our guest alumnus and commencement speaker, Mr. Jay Chattaway. Jay is an Emmy Award-winning composer, having been nominated 9 times for his work in television, particularly for the Star Trek series. He is also the producer of many Grammy Award-winning music projects. The variety of artists with whom he has worked on these projects demonstrates the diversity of Jay's body of work. He has worked with Carly Simon, Bob James, Maynard Ferguson, Gato Barbieri, David Byrne, the Talking Heads, the Fania All-Stars, Herb Alpert, and the Von Trapp family children. Jay has also composed the musical scores for over 30 feature films. He has served as president of the Society of Composers and Lyricists and as governor of the Academy of Television of Arts and Sciences. Before the end of 2012, Mr. Chattaway donated his entire collection of original music scores that he composed for the Star Trek series. This collection will live in the WVU archives and be accessible to all users who come to research the music of Jay Chattaway. Most important, the scores are here to enrich the training of our student composers. Jay has also consented to return to campus next year to work with our composition students in an ongoing capacity. We are indeed fortunate and grateful to have Jay here, and fortunate for his commitment and dedication to the college and to its students. So, Mr. Chattaway, would you please come forward? It's my pleasure to bestow upon you the College of Creative Arts Distinguished Alumnus Award for 2013. And it reads, Jay Chattaway has presented the College of Creative Arts Distinguished Alumnus Award in recognition of professional achievements and dedication to the college. May 18, 2013, West Virginia University. I'll take that from you. You want to get a picture? Let's get a picture.
Thank you very much. That was a surprise. I noticed when I happened to read the press release that I was getting this award, but nobody told me about it until today, so thank you very much for the consideration. I'm very delighted to be here. Usually when I'm at a podium, I'm conducting, or if I'm on a stage, I'm performing, and I have a big orchestra in front of me to help me present my thoughts. But today I'm just here to speak and to follow up on the Dean's comments on the path of success from being a student at West Virginia. As the Dean so eloquently itemized his 5 main points for success, I'd like to elaborate and amplify them in certain orders. First of all, how to return to the college to share my successful career path and how the Dean's remarks have applied to my journey. I was born in Monongahela, Pennsylvania, just up the road a little bit. My parents worked very hard, but weren't really capable of putting me through college. And through the efforts of my very young music teacher, who had been a student at West Virginia, Robert Rossi, who had a collaborative relationship with our former dean, Phil Faini, I think there was a little Italian conspiracy going, because when they get together, they would talk a lot about pasta and red wine. So they insisted that I come to West Virginia and audition, and I was a trumpet player. I came in, auditioned on trumpet, and presented my music scores. And sure enough, I was accepted to the college and awarded a Board of Governors scholarship. Without this scholarship, I wouldn't have been able to come here and study. I don't know what I would have done, but it wouldn't have been music, and it wouldn't have been at West Virginia. So I knew very early in life that I had a gift for composition, because in junior high school, I was able to write music for my junior high school band, etc. And when I was inducted into the university's Academy of Distinguished Alumni several years ago, Mr. Rossi came to that celebration and presented me with the first arrangement I had done for his band some 30 years earlier. And I thought, well, that says a lot about staying connected and being involved with one's student and alma mater. I was able to attend the Fine Arts Camp at the university, where I met many of my best friends who still today remain my best friends. So the people you're sitting next to, I hope you stay friendly with them. My 4 roommates and I get together every 2 or 3 years at our home in Martha's Vineyard, and we're actually threatening now to perform. We're all brass players, and we were threatening to do a brass quartet next summer. I don't think the Canadian brass is really threatened by this. Maybe not musically, but I think comedically we could probably challenge them just a bit. Being a student at WVU in the 60s was quite special. The marching band was all male and numbered 100. And we had some pretty weird rituals and initiation rites that just probably wouldn't fly in today's co-ed situation. We were also so fortunate to have a great and accessible faculty. I've always thought that some of the best education was achieved outside the classroom, as some of the faculty would join us for golf and other activities and just be regular folks. We could actually talk to them, not just about music, but if we were having problems with just about anything, we could call them up and say, hey, this is what I'd like to do, what's your advice? I'd also like to acknowledge Dr. James Miltenberger, who's celebrating his 52nd year on the music faculty. I don't get it. He doesn't get any older looking. I don't know what this deal is, but he's doing something right. So thank you, Doc, for your guidance, your jazz influence, and your patience while I repeatedly tried my best to play those Haydn piano sonatas. What, no jazz chords? I just didn't get it. I don't know. As an aspiring writer, there were many opportunities to get music played by the various performing groups here, something quite rare in large universities today. I was able to develop my early skills as a composer by writing for the percussion ensemble, the band. We started a jazz band, and I was writing for the orchestra, etc. Some of the press releases that have been flying around recently seem to have a lot of attention to the soul band that I played in college called the Abductors. Now, the Abductors was a 9-piece band. It was sort of a cover band to do music from the James Brown, the Temptations era, and we wore sharkskin suits, big yellow puffy sleeves, sang background vocals, and actually did dance steps to the music. And maybe some of the parents or grandparents may or may not remember some of the dances of that era. One in particular was the alligator, where the dancers get down on the floor and wriggle like reptiles. Don't worry, I'm not going to demonstrate that particular dance. I stayed an additional year at the university to work on my master's degree, but my studies were interrupted by the Vietnam War. I was drafted. I knew that our director of bands, Dr. Bud Udell, had been a member of the arranging staff of the U.S. Navy Band in Washington, and I asked him for some advice. He immediately made some phone calls and arranged an interview for me with the band. And once again, I showed up with my compositions and arrangements and auditioned for a position with the band, and I was hired. I still had to do boot camp and learn some valuable skills such as swimming in a pool of burning oil and taking apart military weapons, skills which I hope I don't really have to use in the future. But this was like the perfect example of networking. This wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have come to WVU. And there have been many WVU graduates since then who have earned wonderful positions as instrumentalists and vocalists in the service bands based on their relationships at West Virginia. So stay connected, it'll pay off. I met so many great musicians while in the Navy that upon the end of the war, many of them finished their enlistments and became members of some famous jazz bands. In fact, two of my best friends joined the Maynard Ferguson Band, and when Maynard asked for some new arrangers, and they both recommended me, Maynard accepted my works immediately, and I became his principal arranger for 7 years. I used this as sort of a calling card to go to New York, and I was able to get a staff position at CBS Records, and naturally the first artist they gave me to work with was Maynard. And incidentally, the first single that I produced from the album happened to be the theme from this motion picture, which was quite popular, and it was the theme from Rocky. And the music from that album propelled me into a very accelerated career at a very young age. It's truly about connections. That album received a gold record, 3 Grammy nominations, and it propelled both of our careers much faster than the normal path. Yes, I had skills and talent, but if I didn't stay connected and I didn't have the urge to succeed, it just wouldn't have happened in such a competitive field. I'd always been interested in film music, even while I was a junior in high school. I had one event that was the one big switch that turned on the light bulb in my head. And my high school band director took me to a Henry Mancini concert. Henry was conducting, playing the flute and the piano with the Pittsburgh Symphony. And this one moment, it's like the big poof goes off. And I said, that's what I want to do. I really want to be able to do that. And many years later, I was very fortunate to meet Hank Mancini and tell him what an inspiration he was to me. And he jokingly, he was always a funny guy, and he always joked about it. And he says, you know, Jay, I think it's something about the water, because you were from Monongahela on the Monongahela River, and I am from Aliquippa on the Ohio River. So perhaps there's something in the creative juices that flow through our waters. One of the jazz musicians that I worked with, Gato Barbieri, best known for his haunting score to the movie Last Tango in Paris, starring Marlon Brando, needed some help on a film he was working on and asked me if I knew how to orchestrate and write music for orchestra and synchronize it with film, etc. And I said, sure, I can do that. Of course, I hadn't really studied those skills as yet, but I learned pretty fast. So as a result of being collaborative with Gato, I found myself 6 weeks later standing in front of the London Symphony, conducting the orchestra, and on the giant screen that comes back when you start a music recording session, there's a giant picture of Sophia Loren looking at the orchestra. And I have to tell you, I was hooked from that time on. The networking system is still the king of finding success in the professional music world. As I suspect it is critical to all fields here, dance, drama, design, and education. Somebody you know knows somebody, and who's possibly looking for new talent, or maybe a new approach to education. I worked my way up from doing low-budget films, some horror films, some comedies, but all the time trying to do the best work that I could. There was always a director, or editor, or a sound person who remembered my music. So what you do in any field will follow you forever, so you must do your best in every instance. I met a director who was a huge fan of Ennio Morricone. Morricone is best known for his film score to The Mission. This director showed me every film that Morricone had scored, and I learned just by watching and hanging out with this director. I ended up doing 5 of that director's films, and sure enough, one of those people I worked with moved on to a different type of film. This director happened to direct a Chuck Norris action film called Missing in Action. So I got then pigeonholed into the action drama field, and I did about 16 action films for that director. The music editor on that project was connected with National Geographic, and he thought I would be perfect for some of their documentaries. It so happened that Jacques Cousteau was one of the clients of National Geographic, and he was quite busy doing underwater films. And they asked me to score some of those, and naturally I used my interesting musical capabilities to sample digitally the sound of killer whales. I used the sound of whales and manipulated them with my keyboard to make them sound like they were part of the orchestra. Well, now I was living in Southern California, and my agent at the time suggested I submit some music for a one-shot opportunity on an episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation. And I really wasn't into doing television episodic work. If you know, it's quite hectic schedule. You'd lose sleep. It's not exactly the way for a long and prosperous life. Well, maybe prosperous, but maybe not so long. The producers of the Star Trek heard my Cousteau music with the whales, and they thought that I was just wacky and weird enough and possibly creative enough to do music from outer space. So my one Star Trek one-shot opportunity turned into 16 years, about 170 episodes, 9 Emmy nominations and an Emmy, and all the spin-offs of Star Trek. I also found it quite coincidental that while an undergraduate at WVU, one of the few programs we watched on television was the original Star Trek series. Recently, I've donated my scores and manuscripts to the university, and they will be available for research and hopefully eventually for an online course of study. In this way, I've tried to give back and express my gratitude to those who've helped me get started. Another vital point that I've discovered is that in all things that can possibly happen in a career path, the one constant is change. And I'm sure you'll come across this very soon when you're entering your careers. How many high school graduates really know at 17 or 18 what they want to do their entire life? Perhaps we, being in the creative arts, have a slightly better vision because we've had to practice, hone our skills, learn to dance, be an actor, an artist, etc. But the one thing I've noticed in all those fields is that change is constant. The fields we choose to pursue will also change. Some due to technology, some due to changing demographics, and some simply due to change itself. And sometimes only by exploring the experience you can bring about certain changes. I'd like to share one of my early educational opportunities to demonstrate how change affected my career path. As I mentioned, I was trying to finish my master's degree here at the university. There was a draft system in place in the military, and I was informed that if I were a full-time public school teacher, I could possibly get an exemption from being drafted, at least to finish my degree. And coincidentally, one of my roommates, also a fellow West Virginia graduate, was leaving a teaching position over at Brewston Mills. So he suggested that I contact the Brewston Mills folks, and sure enough, I got hired to be the director of music at Brewston Mills schools, which entailed directing the band consisting of 6th through 12th grade instrumentalists of varying degrees of ability, and conducting the chorus, which was basically everyone who didn't have anything scheduled in the 5th period. Both groups met in the gymnasium as there weren't any music facilities available. And in addition, I was to teach any of the elementary students who were interested in learning music, and this included guitar, dulcimer, flutophone, rhythm instruments, and classroom music, none of which I really could perform on, so it's quite a job. When I was hired, the school principal informed me that one of my most important functions was the Memorial Day Parade. Every year, the parade, which winds down the metropolis of Brewston Mills Main Street, includes color guards, Boy Scout, Girl Scouts, veterans, 4-H club, and of course, the horses. He explained that in most years, the horses and the band just didn't get along so well, and the horses seemed to have an objection to the band, or they had something against John Philip Sousa. But generally speaking, when the band played, the horses went a little crazy, and he thought I just might be the guy to remedy the situation once and for all. What so happened, the horses were pastured in a field just opposite the school. So at lunchtime, I would take various band members over to the farm, would try to make acquaintances with the horses. This seemed to work out pretty well, although I never took any materials and methods classes having to do with horse training. I'm sure in the college catalog now there might be MM 132 horse whispering and woodwind design, but I as yet haven't seen that. So we'd let the horses smell the drums and lick the musicians, and the students would pet the horses and play a little bit for them. Seemed to be pretty docile. Everything was working great. However, the day of the parade came, the bright sunny day in Brewston. The majorettes were twirling their batons. The drums, both of them, were playing a marching cadence, and the horses, fortunately placed at the rear of the parade, were decked out with ribbons and fancy saddles and riders. So the drum roll went off as rehearsed, and after the first two measures of the Washington Post March, the horses reverted to their usual crazy antics, rearing up, dumping a few riders, and loping off to their farm field. So I guess I just wasn't cut out to be a band director. Nor was that experience enough to keep me out of the draft. When I told the students I had to leave, the band parents organized a meeting to see if there was some way to keep music teachers there more than 1 year, and I explained it wasn't really my choice to leave, but they asked what I thought the school needed to have a great music program. I said it would really have been great if we had an actual music room with storage and proper rehearsal places, and I sketched out on a napkin what I thought would be the basic requirements. Quite a few of the parents were in the lumber industry, as that was a thriving business in the area, and they asked if I could come to school in 2 weeks. Well, on a Saturday I arrived, there were lumber trucks, about 40 parents busily constructing a music building. It was actually a barn raising, complete with music, refreshments, and the most wonderful congeniality of families I've ever seen. And some of the wood on the risers in the room still had bark on the outside. It made me quite proud to be a part of this community, and very proud to be from West Virginia. It was my being drafted into the military that was the change that propelled my career, and it was also my experience as a young teacher that was perhaps an indicator that this might not be the best option. So here's a short summary of some career path advice. Most importantly, love what you do. If you don't love what you do, you put yourself in a position that really isn't working, and it just might not get any better, and remaining in that position will most likely promote a little darker outlook on life. Secondly, explore all your options, especially before being saddled with mortgages, car payments, huge expenses, college loan payments, etc. Look around, travel, and try to experience life. In the creative arts, I think it should be essential that everybody spend some requisite time in New York, Los Angeles, or London, just to absorb the cultural amenities there. Thirdly, stay connected to your friends, your teachers, and your university. As I mentioned, if I were hiring an employee for my business, I would look much more seriously at a person who went to my alma mater. This is absolutely the best employment agency that exists. Remain true to your art. If you're an actor, you must act. A writer must write. A composer must compose, a dancer must dance, and an educator must teach. Do it while you can, especially since it's your dream. Guard your creative rights. What you create is your property. Treat it as such and protect it diligently. Other less talented people will try to take advantage of your material, sometimes for their own personal gain. Learn as much as possible about the business aspects of your career. Live your life as though it is not an infinite amount of time. There's a great poem by Linda Ellis. It's called The Dash. Maybe some of you have read it in literature class or have seen it. But the dash refers to the symbol placed between one is born and when they passed on, such as Abraham Lincoln, 1809 to 1865. Some say the length of that dash is so much more important than the actual dates, because the dash represents what the person has done during the length of that time. Some dashes are longer than others. Some should probably even be thicker than others. My belief is that the line or dash shouldn't be as simple as a straight line, but perhaps more like a wave, as our lives have many vertical fluctuations. So let me read just an excerpt from this poem, because I think it's relevant to what's happening today. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love, and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives, like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this little special dash might only last a little while. And returning to the university, I couldn't help but when driving past the Creative Arts Center, and especially considering where I've been spending my last 18 years, I thought, you know, the Creative Arts Center has quite a bit of resemblance to the Starship Enterprise. And also, after getting lost driving down High Street, I ended up on Kirk Street, so maybe that was named after Captain Kirk, I'm not sure. And now, since so much Star Trek music is residing in the hallowed halls of West Virginia University, I would like you to all go forward, commence your life's plans, and to remember, firstly, love what you do, and in the words of Mr. Spock, I'm trying to do this finger thing here, live long and prosper. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Jennifer Berkebile, Doctor of Musical Arts student in vocal performance, singing My Home Among the Hills, composed in 1963 in honor of West Virginia's centennial celebration by Clarksburg native Mr. E.W. James.
There's a land of rolling mountains where the sky is blue above, and though I may roam, I hurry home to the friendly hills I love, where the moonlit meadows ring with the call of whippoorwills. Always you will find me in my home among the hills, and where the sun draws rainbows in the mist of waterfalls and mountain rills. My heart will be always in the West Virginia hills. The autumn hillsides are bright with scarlet trees, and in the spring the robins sing, while apple blossoms whisper in the breeze. And there is music in the flashing streams, and joy in fields of daffodils, laughter through the happy valleys of my home among the hills.
Now is the time to recognize each of our graduates. Greeting the candidates. Congratulate yourselves. Greeting the candidates and leading the conferral of West Virginia University degrees will be Senior Associate Provost for Academic Affairs, Dr. Russell Dean. At this time, we would like to also recognize graduates who have served this nation with valor and sacrifice in our nation's armed forces. The red, white, and blue cords these students wear today are a tribute to their selfless service. We also honor faculty and staff who have served. I ask that all veterans present today to stand and be recognized so we may thank you and your families for your dedication and commitment given. Thank you. Please welcome back to the podium Associate Dean Jamie Windsor.
Six years ago, the College of Creative Arts created the Multidisciplinary Studies, or MDS program, to provide students with an educational option that would allow them to follow an individualized course of study based on their own personal academic interests and career goals. Students who complete the course of study earn a Bachelor of Multidisciplinary Studies, or BMDS degree. The MDS degree is proven to be ideal for students who have an educational and career plans that cannot be met by the other traditional degree programs offered by the college. To earn their degree, MDS students must complete the same rigorous general education requirements expected of all university undergraduates. However, in lieu of pursuing a traditional majors, MDS students instead complete 3 separate minors. These minors are equal to a regular major in both the number of hours and the commitment required to earn the degree. This evening, I am pleased to announce the name of our most recent MDS graduating senior from the College of Creative Arts. As only our 3rd candidate in the MDS program, she is completing her degrees with minors in Arts Administration, Music Performance, and Studio Art. Walking in this evening's commencement and earning her BMDS degree this coming on August 2013 is Jessica Deborah Cole. Jessica, please come up on stage. Please join me in congratulating Jessica, who comprises the College of Creative Arts MDS class of 2013. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium Professor Allison Helm, Director of the School of Art and Design, who will announce the names of this evening graduates from that program.
Hello, class of 2013. Congratulations. Special thanks to all the parents, grandparents, and other family members here today. Graduates, if it weren't for these important people, you wouldn't be here. So let's give the parents and families a round of applause. I'm delighted to be here to share this joyous day with you. The reputation of the School of Art and Design is determined by the quality of our graduates, and I am confident that you will make us proud. Because our faculty members are highly talented artists and innovators, and because they are dedicated to training artists, designers, educators, and art historians at the highest professional levels, you are graduating well prepared to excel in the workplace, in graduate school, or as professional artists. We all communicate and express ourselves in different ways. How we process the world around us determines our aesthetic direction. Through your education, you began searching for this direction by expanding your visual language, exploring new materials, and developing a conceptual vocabulary. You began learning to convey your own unique meaning in both content and process. As part of your education, some of you had the opportunity to experience our new Global Positioning Studies initiative, to travel to places like Hawaii, Italy, Chile, France, China, Wyoming, coastal Maine, and even right here in West Virginia. As you learn to edit the vast sea of images and experiences, content is crucial to the process of finding your voice and your place in the world as artists and art historians. Art reveals humanity and challenges us to consider our own. As you use your talent to reveal truths about our human experience, you become givers in society, not takers. Embrace your fellow man by creating as many opportunities as possible, not just for you, but for others. You can make these visions become a reality in the workplace and the work that you produce. You've been discovering the truth about yourselves for 4 years or more. You have been trained to direct your own artistic endeavors, to find, discover, discern, and practice creativity. You have earned the freedom to make choices about your life as you enter the workforce. Immerse yourself in what stimulates and drives you. You are leaders, so take charge of your career and future to freely pursue the spark and the inspiration that you have cultivated. There is a profound need for people like you in this world. Your voice has a ripple effect in society that is desperately needed. Be optimistic and courageous. Good character will help you through every change of life and every challenge. Most of us have succeeded because others gave us a chance. Many in the audience have made great sacrifices so that you could be here today. Recognize what you've been given and don't forget to return the gratitude. As you go forward in your lives, remember to stay connected with your peers, your community, and especially the School of Art and Design. You are part of our family forever, and we want to hear about your accomplishments, so stay in touch and come back to see us. Finally, remember to bless others as you've been blessed. Please rise, class of 2013. For the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Art History, Meriwether Ruffner Franklin, cum laude. Ricky Rose Huffman. Bailey Elizabeth Puhala. Jennifer Lee Rice. Daniel Drew Sensenbaugh, summa cum laude. For the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Art and Design, Scott Anthony Albert. Benjamin Michael Amend. Grace Nicole Arnett. Joseph Robert Bradbury. Taylor Ann Bray, magna cum laude. Mary Elizabeth Carl, cum laude. Jamie Renee Coakley. Laura Crosby, magna cum laude. William Van Deskins. Stephen Carl Diller, magna cum laude. Sean Michael Dooley. Megan Lynn Dutney. Michael William Fairless. Alexandra Page Holaska, magna cum laude. Tyler Michael Harrington. Clayton Hunter Cassee. Julie A. Leslie. Samantha Murphy. Tiana Elise Phillips. Brooke Davis Potter. Caitlin Danielle Ratliff. Elizabeth Pays Roth, summa cum laude. Jamie Lynn Schaefer, cum laude. Sydney Lynn Sherman. Tara Nicole Smith, magna cum laude. Rachel Marie Taylorson. Stacy Lynn Tichnell. Christopher Michael Tingley. Courtney Suzanne Walker. Sean Michael Woofter, summa cum laude. For a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Art and Design with certification, Michaela Jo Jaros, summa cum laude. For a Master of Fine Arts in Art and Design, Vlad Konstantin Bazarab. Michael Frederick Loop. Kofi Simpe Aboku. And our student marshal, Shannon Lee Dent, BFA in Art and Design, summa cum laude. Now it is my pleasure to introduce friend and partner in crime, Keith Jackson, Director of School of Music.
Welcome, family, friends, and guests of the class of 2013. To the class of 2013, congratulations. You are finishing a career at WVU, and this is a grand occasion. Today you've heard from an illustrious alumnus who is walking the walk. Now you're getting ready to hear from a trombone player. Some things just don't make sense, I'll tell you what. Actually, in reality, for one moment, I considered asking Professor Wilkinson, who is eloquent and an impactful speaker, to give this speech. But one, having each one of you carry thesaurus was out of the question. Second, the Eberly College needs this by tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So you're stuck with me. Now, to be honest, at this kind of event, you're really going to forget what I have to say. So I'm going to get the important part out of the way. I'm going to tell you that your last final starts in roughly 20 minutes. One more test. This test is to see if you have learned the most important lesson any artist can learn. Sometimes it comes at the end, sometimes it comes at the beginning. But it's a simple mantra. When there's free food, eat it. Dean Kreider still practices this mantra religiously. So at the reception, grab some Flying WV cookies and stuff your pockets. Because you're artists, people, you don't know when you eat again. And for the parents who are here, I'm kidding, really, they'll be fine. Now, as I was sitting back here in the first part of this, I kind of got nervous because actually everything I was going to say to you has been said in a better way. So for the next 7 minutes, I'm going to speak in Ferengi. They didn't get it. All right, anyhow, I'm going to say a few things. And I hope you will remember some of them. And the first is actually a repeat of something you've heard earlier. Remember in the next couple of years that what you do has economic value. And when I say economic value, it's not just money. It's about the quality of life. We get to do something we love and enjoy. You can't put a price tag on that. So continue, as you've heard earlier, to chase those dreams. And when you chase those dreams, make sure you bring those dreams to others for the first time. Some of you have done this already. Some of you have done it with runouts when you performed. Some of you have given clinics. Some of you have done student teaching. You already have this ability. You just need to keep doing it. If you've done this as a member of a university ensemble, great. If you've done it with a self-generated group, such as the High Street Brass, great. The big thing is to continue to bring these gifts to folks young and old, because that's a gift that has no price. Second, reach out to the rest of the non-artistic world whenever you can. You need to work on your elevator speech so they can understand what we do and find us less intimidating. And yeah, I said intimidating. Those normal folks out there, they are afraid of us because we are weird. So what you can do is try to make them comfortable, bring them into our world, and let them see a little bit of that creative habitat we live in. And then maybe, just maybe, more people in this world will appreciate and love what we're trying to do. Same thing. You've already done this because you're chasing this degree, but get outside of your comfort zone. You heard it before. Some of you have done this already. You've traveled outside the country. Heck, some of you came to WVU from outside the country. You need to continue to push that comfort zone. So if you thought you were bold when you played the first time at a weekly jam session at the Brew Pub, you can be bolder. So you're leaving these safe and hallowed halls, but continue to explore scratch that itch that makes you want to continue to push the envelope. Because that itch, scratching that itch will give you experiences that will become memories, okay? And finally, and most importantly, and you've heard it before, when you leave today, say goodbye like you mean it. The people you're sitting with, you might never see them again. They might move to another country, across the world, whatever. So when you say goodbye at this reception, assume you will not see them again. And make that last hug one that you will remember, and there will be no regrets. Enough of that. Over the last 4 years, you guys started a path together, and you've grown together. So right now, together, will the 2013 graduating class of the West Virginia University School of Music rise, and led by Student Marshal Lindsay Marie Sinclair, please come to the stage. Receiving the Bachelor of Arts in Music, Phoebe Ann Carnell, cum laude. Aunt Amanda Marie Majaka. Hannah Bridget Webster, summa cum laude. Receiving the degree, Bachelor of Music, Education, Gabrielle Elise Bias, magna cum laude. Shane Robert Emmerich, cum laude. John Robert Fitzmaurice. Okay. Michael Joseph Ham, cum laude. Kinsey Page Holland. Travis Klein. Cody John McPherson, summa cum laude. Elena Michelle Tietrich, magna cum laude. Receiving the degree Bachelor of Music, Performance, Samantha Jo DeStefano. Nicholas Ryan Hatt, magna cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Lyle, summa cum laude. Receiving the degree Bachelor of Music, Jazz Studies, Grace Leong Zefui, magna cum laude. Receiving the degree Bachelor of Music, Composition, Adam Stephen Plants, summa cum laude. Alan Samuel Rakadag, cum laude. Receiving the degree Master of Music, Lindsay Ross Bryson. Jeremy Shane Carter. Daniel Francis Kovacic. Rafael Langoni Smith. Receiving the degree Doctor of Musical Arts, Sylvia Angrani Admaja. Wei Tuck Chan. Dangaratai Pokwatsiri. Jacob Stephen Womack. Sung Hee Yao. and the Student Marshal of Music, Lindsay Marie Sinclair, summa cum laude. And now I would like to introduce my friend, my colleague, my partner in crime, Joshua Williamson, the director of the School of Theater and Dance.
For the record, the only crimes were aesthetic in nature. Thank you very much, Keith. My name is Joshua Williamson, and I serve as the director of the School of Theater and Dance. This is a time of great change and great uncertainty for you. And this is a time of great change and great uncertainty in the arts, as we watch the arts seemingly dismantled by technology and the internet. Ticket sales for live professional theater, dance, orchestral music is down 14%. 18 to 34-year-olds are bombarded with over 5,000 marketing messages a day. The incoming freshmen this year will have spent over 20,000 hours in front of a screen and an additional 10,000 hours playing video games. The sale of video games now exceeds movie and music sales combined. Starting salaries in the visual and performing arts is $25,000 to $35,000 according to the National Association of Colleges and Employers. Computer science and engineers are at $70,000. Worst yet, statistically, only 2 of you tops will ever have a chance of becoming a star or singing on Broadway. Thinking about life in food service yet? But a life in the arts isn't as simple as basic economic metrics that Yahoo and US News use when they compile those despicable top 10 best and worst majors lists. They totally miss the notion that all of us choose our lives in the arts for deeper reasons, that we are compelled to pursue our art out of need and desire. They miss the fact that arts education produces graduates with deep empathy for others. And solid communication skills. That's a good one to slip up on. Strong emotional intelligence, the ability to listen deeply, adaptability, teamwork, public speaking, I could go on and on. And to be blunt, these are the marketable skills that employers are seeking. And these are the skills you now possess. The economic metrics also don't factor in job satisfaction. A recent study ranked actors and directors number 5 for job satisfaction. Forbes magazine ranked artists number 7 in their top 10 happiest jobs list. So mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, you may take a deep breath. For while a career as an actor may at first seem to destine your child to take up permanent residence in your basement, there is in fact rich and rewarding career opportunities waiting for them. For some it may mean singing on Broadway, performing Othello at the Guthrie. For others it may mean a career in advertising or public relations, perhaps law or sales or management or politics or education. The goal is to measure yourself not in a linear progression from point A to point B, but to measure your success in the ability to take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves to you. So it is important as ever that Carolyn, you keep writing. Matt, you keep marching to a beat, and Sam, you keep calling those cues. And keep an eye out for good tenors. You may never know when you may need to hire one. Carrie, don't give up on your love of international travel, and Anna, thank you for showing us that The Cherry Orchard is actually a comedy. CJ, you don't know it yet, but you'll be an artistic director calling us looking for acting interns. Dominique, keep singing with the boys, and Jenna, keep on dancing. Nick, be the clown you really know you are. And Kayla, you have the biggest heart of them all. Don't let go of that and keep on singing. McKenna, remember to release your inner diva. And Josh, always aloof and cool, with a, hey man. You're ready for the screen. Sarah, you may not realize it, but there's a combination of Cher and Carol Burnett in you. Embrace that. Elizabeth, jeez. Chelsea, embrace your love of the classics. And Alex, remember always to keep a Starbucks white chocolate mocha nearby. And so I'd like to end with a nod to the artist, with a quote many believe Jack Kerouac wrote. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. They have no respect for the status quo. You can praise them, disagree with them, quote them, disbelieve them, glorify and vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They invent, they imagine, they heal, they explore, they create, they inspire. They push the human race forward. Maybe they have to be crazy. How else can you stare at an empty canvas and see a work of art? Or sit in silence and hear a song that has never been written? Or gaze at a red planet and see a laboratory on wheels? While some may see the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. That was written by Craig Tanimoto, the art director and copy editor behind Apple Computer's famous Think Different campaign. So you may be the next Nathan Lane or the next Craig Tanimoto, but you take advantage of what's in front of you and live every opportunity to its fullest. Therefore, Dean Kreider, it is with immense pleasure that I present to you the School of Theater and Dance class of 2013, who not only completed the requirements for their degrees, but possess in them the skill, drive, and passion to follow their dreams and change the world. Congratulations. And now, would the School of Theater and Dance class of 2013 please approach the stage? Receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Theater, Carolyn Lindsay Kinnear. Matthew William Lightfoot. Samantha Jo Mathis, summa cum laude. Carrie Bryant Todd. Receiving a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater with an emphasis in acting, Ariana Elizabeth Ballerini, cum laude. Carolyn Jordan Bondi, summa cum laude. Dominic Brown, cum laude. Jenna Grace Dorsey, magna cum laude. Nicholas Theodore Haney, summa cum laude. McKenna Christine Kirshner, magna cum laude. Joshua Andrew Leeper, summa cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Reddy, summa cum laude. Chelsea Renee Roper, magna cum laude. Receiving a Master of Fine Arts in Theater with an emphasis in costume design and technology, Alexandria Rose Vasquez. And our student marshal for the School of Theater and Dance, graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater with an emphasis in acting, Kayla Faye Hudgens, summa cum laude. Congratulations to the School of Theater and Dance, class of 2013.
I would now like to ask Senior Associate Provost Dr. Russell Dean to lead the conferral of West Virginia University degrees.
Will the candidates from the College of Creative Arts please rise? Your passion for expressing yourself creatively and sharing your unique vision with others will help you transform lives through art, education, and scholarship. As you begin your career in the arts, I hope that you will continue to express yourself with creativity, compassion, and courage. As West Virginia University graduates, always aspire to put your education to work exploring our world's greatest problems. Continue to cultivate your global awareness and aim to create a more peaceful and just world. Constantly refine your abilities to uncover facts, analyze problems, and communicate clearly. Dream big and never stop learning. Share your pride in West Virginia University wherever you go and act as ambassadors for WVU and the life-changing power of education. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the West Virginia University Board of Governors, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended, with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. As West Virginia University's newest graduates, bachelor's candidates may move their tassels to the left side of your cap as a symbol of your achievement. Please join me in welcoming WVU's newest graduates. Congratulations once again. Please be seated.
To deliver the alumni charge is Jeannie Freeben. She received her Bachelor of Music in Education in 1984 and a Master of Music in Clarinet Performance in 1986. Previous to her current position as Director of Records and Advising for the College of Creative Arts, she served as Director of the WVU Community Arts Program. Jeannie remains an active performer, performing mostly with the West Virginia Symphony Orchestra, Johnstown Symphony, and Ohio Valley Symphony Orchestra. Formerly an adjunct clarinet instructor at WVU and Frostburg State University, she still enjoys teaching as a clarinet instructor in the WVU Community Music Program. Please welcome Jeannie Freeben.
On behalf of all graduates of the university who have preceded you, I extend to each member of the class of 2013 congratulations and best wishes. Today, you are joining a legacy of success that reaches back almost 150 years. Over that time, WVU graduates have succeeded in almost every field of human endeavor. They have been heroes in battle. They have lifted our spirits through the arts. They have revolutionized technology. They have saved lives. They have committed themselves to public service. They have explored the mysteries of our universe. They have built business enterprises that employ thousands. They have nurtured society's next generation. The story of each graduate is unique. WVU has given you the tools to succeed, but you must each find your own path to success. With that in mind, I offer this charge to you, the class of 2013. As you enter one phase of your career, start learning what you need to advance to the next stage. When you set goals, be flexible and don't be afraid to change your plan if circumstances warrant it. As you work towards your goals, don't forget to spend time nurturing relationships. As you develop your unique gifts, apply them in ways that make our world better. When you have to choose between thinking like the crowd or thinking for yourself, choose to be an innovator. When you have the chance to explore a new place or a new perspective, take it. As you travel the world, wear your flying WV with pride. And when people ask where you learn to succeed, tell them you're a mountaineer. Once again, congratulations to you, West Virginia University's class of 2013.
Congratulations to you all. There are many people to thank here today. I'd like to thank our commencement staff and then our Creative Arts Center staff, Mark Oreskovich, Brian Smith, Peter McCumber, and Mark Price. Also our dean staff, faculty marshals, Dr. John Beal, Professor Jessica Bishop, thank you for your work today. And please join me in giving all these people a round of applause. Graduates, I ask you to rise one more time, please. Now I want you to turn around, face the other direction. See if you can locate family member, friend, loved one. Say thank you to them for their support for you today. Give them a round of applause. At this time, I would like to ask everybody to stand, parents, family members, friends, and honored guests, as we join together in singing the words of our alma mater, written in 1938 by WVU graduate student Louis Corson. During the singing, it is traditional for gentlemen to remove their caps.
Alma, our alma mater, the home of mounted ease, sing we of thy honor, everlasting through the years. Alma, our alma mater, we pledge in song to you. Hail, all hail our alma mater, West Virginia, you.
This concludes our ceremony today. You are invited to a reception in the lobby, but we do ask that you stay seated until the recessional is finished. Thanks for coming, and I hope you have a great evening.